Welcome to your Get That Nugget for GCSE English Language. Today we'll be concentrating on giving you a framework to answer Paper 1, Question 1. This session is to complement your lessons with your teachers and not to replace them in any way. Question 1 on Paper 1 is quite a nice question to begin with. It's a 4-mark question, should take you about 5 or 6 minutes to complete. And the examiner is looking for you to show some reading skills. So you will be given a set number of lines to look at, and you should be able to identify 4 things from that text in order to answer the question. The question will look something like this. So they will give you a set number of lines to look at, and it's really important that you only take information from these lines. And then they will ask you to list 4 things or 4 details about a question focus. It's really important to remember that they will not give you the text separately like this. It will be from the main section of the text. Usually it is from the beginning of the text, but as I said, it's really important that you do take note of where those lines are and you get your information from those lines only. So the approach to the question, we already know where the lines are for this question. And for the purposes of this video, we're going to be using the same paper through all videos, which is the monkey paw paper. Our focus for this question is that we need to list the 4 details about how or what suggests the man is frightened. So now we know what our focus is, we need to read that section and start highlighting anything to do with this focus. You will end up with more than 4 things, and that's fine. This is a good skill to practice anyway. So the more that you can find, the better, and then you can pick the 4 things that you would like to write for your answer. Take it line by line, and we're looking for anything that shows the man is frightened. He went down in the darkness and felt his way to the sitting room and then to the mantelpiece. The monkey's paw was in its place, and a horrible fear that the unspoken wish might bring his mutilated son to him before he could escape from the room seized upon him. So he had a horrible fear, something seized upon him. He caught his breath, and as he found that he had lost the direction of the door, his brow cold with sweat, he felt his way around the table and groped along the wall until he found himself in the hallway with the dreadful thing in his hand. Even his wife's face seemed changed as he entered the room. It was white and hopeful, and to his fears seemed to have an unnatural look upon it. He was afraid of her. So we've highlighted quite a few things there, but it's important to remember to go back to the question so that everything we do pick out links directly to what we're being asked to look for. So if we go with man is frightened, he caught his breath is a good one because that shows that he's frightened. The fear seized upon him also shows that he's frightened. His brow cold with sweat also shows that he's frightened. You could also pick that he had a horrible fear, again shows that he's frightened. Even something as simple as he was afraid of her shows that he's frightened. Now we've got 5 there. You would just need to pick out 4 of those things in order to answer the question. The question is laid out like this in the paper. So what you would need to do is you would need to take what you found and you'd need to write a sentence showing your answer. So for the purposes of this question, we're going to write what we have found in a sentence. So his brow cold with sweat. So we've got 1 point already. He caught his breath. That's 2. And there he was afraid of her. So what we've done there is we've just copied the quotes out. What you can also do is change the sentence slightly into a full sentence that you would create as long as you are answering the question. So for example, if we go with the one up here, horrible fear, if we just wrote horrible fear here, it's not really a sentence, or it's not a sentence at all. So we need to change that into a sentence in order to answer the question. So what we would need to do is use the wording of the question and the extract. So we know it's a he, we know the character's a he. So we could put the character had a horrible fear. And that would get you the mark. You don't have to just copy across the quotations. If you find it easier to do that, you can do, that's fine. But I know most of the time it's easier to just turn it into a sentence yourself. This, as I said, shouldn't take too long. This is about a 5-minute question. By the time you've read the question, the time you've read the text, that will take a few minutes, and then you just write your 4 things to get your 4 marks. You do not want to spend more than 5 minutes on this question because there are higher mark questions to follow in the paper, which is going to require more of your time to do. You just need to make sure that you don't miss this question out because these 4 marks are easily gained. And as we know, 4 marks is quite important. Sometimes that's the difference between a grade or not. And we just need to make sure that we are focused back to the question with each of your answers. When you have time at the end of the paper, which you should do, to check all your answers, you can come back to this question just to ensure that you have answered it correctly. But it is a very simple question and it is as simple as that. If you just take those steps, so the first step is that you read the question and you make a note of the lines you're looking for and your question focus. Step 2 is read the section of the text and find your things that link to the question. And then the final step, step 3, is you just write your 4 answers that you take directly from the text. You are just showing the examiner that you are able to read a passage of text and you understand the ideas within that text, and that will get you your marks. I'm going to leave you with a question for you to be able to do to give to your teacher. This is from the extract that I uploaded, which is your practice paper. Again, add those 3 steps. So it will tell you the line numbers, the question focus, and then you read the text and identify 4 things, and you just write the 4 sentences and give this to your teacher and they will be able to mark it for you.